Hello everybody, it's Sarah, and before there's anything else that I say, I just want to say sorry for my voice today and also for my heavy breathing. I don't know if you can hear it, but I have been sick these last few days, like 2 or 3 days, and I have not fully recovered yet. Today I want to film a 2-part video. First, I am going to film my Top 5 Wednesday for this week, and second, I am going to show you my TBR, or at least the books that I'm going to take with me on Christmas holidays, which starts 1 week from now and is 2 weeks long, at least in Austria. So, let's get started with Top 5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesday was created by Lainey from Ginger Reads Lainey, and as always, I'll leave the links to her channel as well as the Goodreads group in the description box, so check them out. And this week's topic was top 5 books you read by the fire. So basically, my favorite winter reads. Now, I do not actually read seasonally. I'm mostly a mood reader, so I can read any type of book at any time in the year, but I do think that winter with the longer nights, at least in the northern hemisphere where I'm from, are very good for reading high fantasy books or reading more chunky books. As always, these books are not in any particular order. So first spot on my list are actually 2 books, and that's Call of the Wild and White Fang by Jack London. They both take place in the Canadian wilderness and both follow a wolf or a very big dog, wolfhound, and they are just amazing books. I love them. Also, they are really short, so you'll get through them very quickly, especially Call of the Wild. The next book, I don't actually know why I think that it's a winter read. Maybe it's because my mother read it to me in winter, I think, the first time she read it to me, and that's Sophie's World, or a novel about the history of philosophy by Joost Engada. And this book, I also mentioned it in my Top 5 Wednesday, the books that I'm most thankful for. This book is about Sophie, who is a young girl who one day starts receiving envelopes with lessons about the history of philosophy, and it's just about her discovering philosophical thinking and everything, and trying to find out who her teacher really is. It's a really fun book, especially if you're interested in philosophy, and also if you're not interested in philosophy. Next would be something, maybe that's just me because I'm Austrian, but winter always means for me fairy tales, especially the fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm. Let's be serious, when you think of fairy tales, at least when I think of fairy tales, I think of a grandma sitting in front of the fire and her grandchildren sitting at her feet and her telling fairy tales to them, and they're just listening. So I will always connect the fairy tales of the Brothers Grimm with winter. Next is a series. I do think that all of them are perfect for winter, but of course especially the second book. And the series is The Chronicles of Narnia, and of course The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, which I think is the second book, is the most perfect for winter. I have just this huge, beautiful bind-up of all the books. The number 1 spot on my list, all the others are out of order, but this is probably the number 1 spot, and this is not a particular book. What I mean with that is that I think winter is the perfect time to reread one of your favorite books. And for me today, just to show you, for me today that's The Chronicles of the Emerged World by Licia Troisi, and why I'm showing you this for this whole category of books really is, because I just finished it, rereading it, and I loved it again, and it's so wonderful and so amazing. And this whole trilogy is, the first book is Nihal from the Land of the Wind, and the whole trilogy is about this girl, Nihal, and the emerged world where she lives is threatened by a tyrant, and when she finds out that she's the last surviving of her people, the demi-elves, I guess you would call them in English, she swears to avenge them and starts training to be a warrior. That was it for the top 5 Wednesday part of this video, and now let's move on to my TBR, to my wintry TBR for the last week of December and the first week of January. Those are not all books that I am actually going to read, but I am a person who likes to have some choice, because as I said, I am a mood reader, and if I'm not in the mood for a certain book, I just won't start it. So I always take a lot more books with me than books that I'm going to read, and I'm taking those with me for winter holidays. And the first is the Percy Jackson series, at least the first 3 books. I already read the first 2 books, but I would like to reread them and then just marathon through the 3 of them. Then I'm going to take with me The Pages by Murray Bale, which I started in October, I think. I'm about 20 pages in. It's only a very short book. I borrowed this from my father, who recommended it to me, and I still need to finish it, so I'm going to take this with me. Along the same lines, I finally want to finish The Lies of Locke Lamora. I am about 100 pages in, and I want to finish it. Next book I'm going to take with me is Le Mort d'Arthur by Sir Thomas Malory, and I do not plan on reading this book all at once. This book is separated into a lot of very short chapters, and maybe I'll read 10 chapters or something like that, so I can get started with this. I just finished Cinder this last week, and this week I am probably going to the bookstore. Well, I'm surely going to the bookstore, but I'm probably going to buy the rest of the series, and I'll probably take it with me and maybe just marathon through it. We'll see. And I'm just going to take 2 more books with me, and that's the second and the third book in the Chronicles of the Merged World by Licia Troisi, which I just said I have read the first book, and I want to reread the whole series because it has been just too long since I read this book. So those are all the books that I'm going to take with me, at least the books that I am planning right now to take with me. Tell me what you plan to read over Christmas. Tell me what you like to read beside a fireplace, and I hope I'll see you soon. Kiss kiss!